The objective of this video is to review the functionality of Zenator over the life cycle of a project. From a Zenator perspective, this should start before the end of front-end engineering design, or FEED, and will continue through detailed engineering, construction, commissioning to handover, and final startup. Our terminology and the processes we will be reviewing within Zenator are based around the API recommended practice for facilities system completion, planning and execution. Zenator is a highly flexible systems completion tool which will allow for a wide variety of workflows and processes within a project. This first video will be focusing on the tracking available from FEED, detailed engineering and procurement. At this stage, the detailed engineering process has identified all the major items of equipment and also the long lead time equipment. These items of equipment are now systemized to at least a system level. In this sample project, we can see a number of identified systems which contain these major items of equipment and also the long lead time items of equipment. The project is a representation of a real project which is well through this phase, with equipment starting to arrive on site. Through this entire stage, Zenator will now allow key procurement information to be tracked, including the purchase order number and manufacturer or vendor. All the equipment information is imported and maintained through a tag import process, which is available in a module called Zenator Launch. Imports are via data files in Microsoft Excel, but XML imports are also available. If we take a look at a sample tag import file, we can see the primary attributes of the tag, such as the tag type, discipline, and system information. And the procurement tracking information in terms of the purchase order number and also the manufacturer is also available in this file. Zenator allows additional tag attributes to be imported through user-definable custom fields. Zenator Launch will perform a series of mandatory and user-defined validation checks and reject any equipment that fails these import checks. Equipment importing also allows more complex relationships to be defined between items of equipment, such as a skid for a compressor and all the individual components that make up that compressor. And if we just take a look at what we have inside our tree structure, and we're going to open up this system called gas compression, and I'm going to open up this compressor, and there you can see the parent-child relationship. These parent and child tag relationships can go to multiple layers deep. The major milestone processes of factory acceptance test, inspection release notices, and finally materials receiving inspections can all be tracked within Zenator through its vendor inspection test records, or VITRs. Zenator accepts Microsoft Word documents, which are loaded into Zenator as VITR templates. Here we can see templates for factory acceptance tests, inspection release notices, and material receiving inspections. I'm going to view one of these files. And this is just a sample file of what a factory acceptance test document might actually look like. You have full control because this is Microsoft Word and you can create a document in any style or layout that you desire. These vendor templates are linked to tag types in Zenator's tag type matrix, also known as the TTM. And we'll just go now and look at our tag type matrix. And we'll just pick our vendor ITRs. We'll go down and look at our compressor package. And here we can see the three VITRs assigned to that and linked to that tag type. Vendor check sheets are then generated against tags according to the tag type matrix definition using the ITR wizard. This wizard provides the user with a series of filter steps to select the areas of the project which are to be targeted. VITRs in this case will be assigned to tags and the underlying check sheet document generated. And we can see we have 10 steps of this ITR wizard. I would first pick that I want to work with vendor documents, and then I can next through the various steps selecting which areas of the project that I want to work with. And the steps move through system group, system, subsystem, sub-subsystem, and various other filters to give a user complete control over what gets generated. And if we go back and look at the ITRs that have been assigned, and these have actually gone through the process and actually been completed. But you can see here is one of the FATs. And if we just look at the record, we can see the factory acceptance ITR which has been generated. We have the underlying Word document, and then finally in this case we actually have a scanned completed PDF. The resulting documents can be printed if operating a paper system, or they can be downloaded or converted to PDF for electronic completion. The final document and any additional information sheets can be scanned and loaded back into Zenator. Zenator will track the status of these ITRs from not started, started to finally completed. For completed ITRs, as we've just seen, you'll be able to view the completed signed off check sheet and any additional information sheets. Once the factory acceptance test has been completed, the equipment will go through final inspection release notice. This is another VITR which Zenator can produce and track. At this stage, any carryover punch list items should also be imported into Zenator, where they can be tracked and completed in due course during the construction and/or the commission phase. We can see the completed inspection release notice and the carryover punch list items within this package. And if we look again at our compressor, we can just see some of the punch list items that have transferred over as part of the factory acceptance test. As equipment starts to arrive on the site, materials receiving inspections will be completed. Again, this is another VITR which Zenator can produce for the major items of equipment available within Zenator. Another critical aspect of this stage is the preservation work which will need to be carried out on the equipment that has arrived on site. Preservation templates, or PITR templates, can be set up within the Zenator template area and associated or linked to the tag types using the tag type matrix. And we'll just take a look at some preservation templates. PITRs have additional information available to define the required frequency, weekly or monthly for example. And let's just open up our compressor preservation. And here we can see that information. Finally, the PITR template is associated with a tag status. We can see this is associated with the state of installed. Different preservation activities can be linked to different tag statuses, creating a complete preservation plan which continues as required through the life cycle of the tag, from delivered and installed, and potentially any other tag status that the project defines. And I would just highlight that all these code drop downs that we've been seeing so far are values that are fully user definable within the administration area of Zenator. The tag status would be updated as part of the materials receiving inspection process for major items, and also through potentially delivery manifests. Updates to tag information can be performed in a number of ways, using the main tag import or tag update import within Zenator Launch, using the bulk management screen for tags. And we'll just pause and take a quick look at that screen. This screen will allow flexible filtering on all the key tag attributes in addition to custom field values. Once tags are located, they can be multi-selected and updated in bulk using the update option. And we'll just find some tags here. And go to our gas compressor and click filter. And you can see all the tags are now loaded, and we could multi-select, for example, and then use the modify option. Updates to single records are also possible via the project tree or within the drill down search option. Preservation check sheets are generated again against tags according to the tag type matrix definition and the tag status using the preservation generation process. The resulting preservation ITRs are assigned target completion dates, which can be generated in a strict date schedule mode according to the frequency information of the preservation template, or more flexibly according to when the preservation activity is completed. And again, if we look at our compressor, which has been arrived, the equipment has arrived on site, we can see a number of preservations taking place. These preservations are occurring at the sub-equipment level. And we can see two preservations here, one which is complete and one which is still outstanding. And also at the skid level itself, again a compressor preservation, and again one outstanding. And we can see the target dates for finishing the job and then the actual date completed. Through this phase of the project, further tag imports will be processed as the detailed engineering continues to evolve, systemizing the equipment data into subsystems and adding additional equipment such as piping lists, instrument lists, and cable schedules. Follow-up tag imports will keep Zenator synchronized with the engineering design process and will continue to assist with the procurement tracking, factory acceptance tests, and inspection release notices. And then finally, arrival of the equipment on site with material receiving inspections. Carryover punch list items will continue to be captured and the equipment preservation work scheduled. Before we finish this video, we'll look at the reporting within Zenator. Zenator comes with a predefined set of reports which are available within the Zenator Reports Plus module, which is on screen now. All reports within Zenator are exported to Microsoft Excel, where we utilize the advanced reporting features of Excel. Reports fall into three different types or styles. The first is a detailed list. We'll look now at the detailed ITR list. This report provides a detailed list of the ITRs within the database according to the user selection criteria. And you can see the selection criteria down the right hand side. We'll do a select all to select all data in the project, and then the Get Report button to actually run the report. You can see in this resulting report that we have a detailed list within the Excel file, but we've also switched filtering on, so there's additional analysis that you can do once you have the report out of Zenator. So we can just look at the detailed VITRs. The second style of report is a pivot table, and we're going to look at the tag summary analysis report. This report provides analysis of tags within the database and the various ITRs or punch list items associated to these tags. And here we have the report. And we can see at the bottom we have a series of pivot tables tailored towards each phase in the project. So we're now looking at the design phase, and here we can see a report by system, counting the number of tags, the number of VITRs or vendor check sheets, and the percentage complete, the preservation work that we're doing and percentage complete, and then the number of carryover punch list items. Because this is a pivot table, we can also reorder the data. So if I just click into the pivot table, I get a field list, and I can just unclick items and select others. And if I scroll down, I should see the purchase order number and also see the manufacturer. And you can see as I'm clicking, the report auto adjusts itself, and I'm now going to take system off. So we've now got a report that's ordered by purchase order number, and then within that the manufacturer. And we could easily also adjust this so that manufacturer becomes the primary sort, and then within that we have the purchase order number. So we can see again for each manufacturer and purchase order, we can see the status of where we are at a high level status of counts of VITRs, preservation work, and carryover punch list items. The underlying Excel report templates can easily be adjusted to create customized reports. The third style of report is a graphical report, and we're going to look at the graphical ITR progress report. And this provides a graphical progress curve for each of the different types of ITR within the project. So here we can see a tab for each of our ITR types, and obviously at this stage we've only got VITRs and preservation work. There's a very wide variety of default reports within Zenator, which can be easily tailored to suit the needs of a project. The creation of new reports is also an easy task, although this requires some technical and SQL background. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and if you have any further queries or questions arising from the topics covered, then please do not hesitate to contact us.